Hi, my name is Tyrese Simon, news writer for SE Scoops, and I have the pleasure of interviewing these guys. They are the Breakfast Club of professional wrestling, one of the most entertaining podcasters in pro wrestling today, one of the best social media games in pro wrestling today. Graham, Jizzle, Ben, the Public Enemy Podcast. How you doing, guys?
Doing well. Thank you for having us. I really appreciate it. What's up with the guys?
Definitely.
Hey man, touched.
Let's start crying
For
over here.
real. For
Let me get a
real.
little handkerchief, wipe my little eye sweat. It's eye sweat. Those are not tears. It's just eye sweat.
Just eye sweat. Just eye
California,
sweat.
man. You know California weather.
Of course.
It's crazy because it's like raining crazy right now in New York, so that's something.
Oh, y'all got snow on the way.
Man.
You know what that means?
Yeah.
I mean, the snow is on the way.
Yeah.
Yo, we just
Does
got
it snow
hit.
in California?
Some places like Tahoe, that don't really count.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah, like Atlanta. You know what I'm saying when Atlanta will get that one thing of snow. They're like,
you go to like the super northern region, you know what I'm saying? Get up in the Tahoe Valley area and shit like that. Yeah, you're gonna run into some snow. But here on this side, towards like the Bay Area, nah,
it's hot.
nah. We ain't seen snow this way since the 90s.
Well, I mean, New York, we're known for our snow, and we get blizzards, and sometimes we have the worst snowstorms ever. But hey, you guys from the Bay, so it works out for you.
Yeah, we're from the Bay. Benjamin
Yeah,
is actually
I'm from Virginia.
He's from Virginia.
You're from Virginia, Ben.
Yes, sir.
Graham and C, you're from the Bay, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what?
He's from
See,
Baltimore.
Graham, you say you used to be from Baltimore?
I said he's from.
No, I'm not from Baltimore. It's a running joke.
It's just
That's a running joke we have.
You know, Graham, I kind of felt like New York has their slang. I know the Bay has their slang, and I feel like every time you say yada yamin,
Yeah, what I mean?
that's a Bay Area thing for
That's
real.
what I mean.
Y'all know what I mean?
Yada, I'm talking about.
That's
You did.
That'd be a T-shirt.
It should be, right?
Yeah.
It should be a T-shirt. You say that every single show.
Yeah. I think I was talking to I was on a Twitter Spaces last night with I don't know if you've heard of these guys, but Fam from the Black Wrestling Podcast. And he was saying, yo, I think I should bring in the E40 Yup and the E40 Nope drop on the pod. And then he was like, wait a second. I'm not sure why Graham and the Public Enemies guys aren't doing that already. So I'm just going to go ahead and just allow him to have that. And
Right.
if they use it, they use it. I'm like, oh, great. Thanks. Cool. Appreciate it.
Well, I mean, you should be using that.
We should be.
You should be.
Just say it. Yeah, we just
There
say
you go. There you
Okay.
go.
There you go.
But yes, guys, it is an honor to interview you guys. You guys are people that I've been looking at on social media. I've been following you guys on your YouTube channel, on Spotify, iTunes as well. And I've been sharing you guys with my people, their people. My little brother even listened to you guys, and he was excited for me to interview you guys. So this is honestly an honor for me. My first pro wrestling interview with you guys is an honor.
How old is your little brother?
Oh, he's 16. He's 16.
Okay.
He's already.
Cool. Because this
We
is
be
not a
saying-
PG show.
It's not.
we
It's
say
not.
some-
It's not.
This
I was
is
like, yo,
We do not
Well,
represent
yeah, I'm
the
not-
PG era of
no.
professional wrestling. But yeah, there you go.
Where everything that everybody
Right.
complains
like,
about
I
that's
can write
missing
an
from that
autograph on
era
the
of
starter
wrestling.
cap, but I don't know how it's
Yeah.
gonna go.
That's funny. I just wanted to make sure you got your parents' permission before you dialed us up and spent your $1.99 a minute. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. He's definitely a fan of you guys, and he was excited for me to do this interview. So, from behalf of my people, thank you for all the content
course.
again.
And shout out to little bro.
Yeah,
Shout out to
most
Lil
definitely,
Bro.
most definitely. But let's get to why we're here. I wanted to get to know CJ, Ben, Graham. I wanted to get to know how this podcast came together. So, how did the Public Enemy podcast come together? Take it away, CJ.
Huh?
Well,
Huh?
well,
All right,
Let me
so
see.
here's the thing.
This is you, man.
All right, so here's the thing. Podcast was an idea that I had a few years back. I think actually about 2017. About 2017, I kind of had the idea to start doing a podcast, and I wanted to do it in a way where it wasn't just like a regular everyday run of the mill just these are the wrestling results. Here is, a little bit of insider news, and we get in and out and just kind of just providing information without like actually making it fun. I felt like fun was kind of missing from like professional podcasting space as far as wrestling goes. And before we really got into it, I didn't know how vast and how, many people were actually doing this until we kind of got really ingratiated into the space. But I wanted to do it in a way where it was just like barbershop talk, just a couple of friends talking back and forth, just like we would do, like at a Super Bowl party or 4th of July, barbecue, or, whatever the situation may be. I wanted it to be where it's kind of lax, a kind of situation where we can make it fun again, but also make it a little bit fun for us, because all of the wrestling podcasts at the time that I was privy to were a bunch of white middle-aged guys that were just all kind of delivering the same message, and wanted to sit down with a couple of my guys, man, and just have fun conversation about it, and bring a little bit more awareness to a lot of the Black professional wrestlers that we know and love today, and just kind of show more love to that. So the podcast started off with myself, CJ right here, and another friend of ours who has since left the show and went on to do amazing things on his own, and he's got a show as well. So now the way that we're structured is we brought Ben in, because we actually brought Ben in to help us with the social media, and it just kind of became a lot more of a close-knit family type thing between the three of us. And we're like, why don't we just kind of make this a thing like going forward permanently? And that's kind of where we were at coming up on about a year ago. So so we're about 3 years in now with the entire project, and about a year in with the current collective.
Yeah, that year's been the best year.
Yeah.
Hey, like I remember when Graham hit me, like, because when he first was started thinking about it, the first he didn't want to say it, so I'll say it for him. The first person he hit was me, because he was like, "Yo,
I don't want to provide false information. I hit both of you at the same time.
Well,
it was in an Instagram chat.
So it was me first.
It was an Instagram chat called Thinking of a Podcast, literally 1 year before we actually launched the show, because I wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page as far as, are we actually going to do this? How are we going to do this? And let's fucking go.
Yeah.
So
it was a rough, because when I always say this all the time, when Grant hit me, hit the chat with that, and I was like, it was exactly what I needed, because I just lost my grandfather and my mental health was bad. And this gave me a way to be myself and to talk about what I love, which is wrestling, in the way that I like to talk, which is with cuss words and jokes. and it really, and I remember when we started out, I said, if one person listened to us other than me, then I'm good. And that's how it was for me. This is a real mental health, because mental health is important, especially in the Black community, especially in men, because we feel like that we can't talk about stuff. And then this is how, like, me, Graham, and like we gone through a lot with each other just doing this, and we're brothers for life. And I never would have thought, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, this podcast is everything to me. It's crazy that somebody wants to talk to us about it. Wow.
It's been about it'll be about a year in, like, around Thanksgiving, that I've been part of the team. Like Graham said, like, yo, Graham hit me up, was like, yo, you want to help run the Twitter page? I was like, absolutely, because I had been listening to them for about maybe a year at that point, because
Okay.
I had heard about them on another podcast, Black Announce Table. They had mentioned them, and I was like, oh, there's more Black wrestling podcasts, and I started listening to them, and I really liked the way they had set it up. It was like a flowing conversation. It wasn't like, yo, we're trying to. It's like, yo, like it's a show and people are trying to like talk about these topics. It felt like, yo, you're just sitting down, listening to, your friends talk about something.
Right.
It didn't feel forced in any way. It felt very organic. And I started like talking about them on my page. And then when he messaged me, I was like, yo, I was ready to do it. And I think maybe about a month into it, they asked me, be a guest, if I wanted to be a guest on there. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then it went on and they're like, yo, what are you doing on Wednesday nights?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not doing nothing. And been like close knit, like brotherhood since then.
Yeah.
The rest is history, right?
I think that's pretty much how it happened. Yeah, like, hey, so what are you doing on Wednesday nights? Like, there's a lot going on, and we kind of need a third.
Yeah.
What's up?
He was like, "You like Ben?" I was like, "I like him."
The guy's good. The guy's good.
Definitely had to get the okay. Yeah, had to get the okay.
Man. I'm a down man. I said, man, we call Grant the Red Ranger because he's the Red Ranger because it's his seed. And he's the one that put the battery in our backs. And yeah, man, it's just a team set, man. We're like a little three-man army.
Weave, dog.
You know what I'm saying? A little 3-man army ready to take on anybody. And then we always win.
Of course.
One of the interesting things about being a content creator is having the courage to do so. Like being able to stand on your own and say, hey, I'm going to produce this content, and I don't know if somebody on the other side is going to like it, but I'm going to do it because I'm passionate about it, and I'm going to try this, and we'll see how this goes. Graham, when you started this thing, did you what was the thought process of like, okay, I got to try this thing. I'm not going to show how people are going to like it or not, but I'm going to go do it anyway. Like, how did you work up the courage to be able to, hey, I'm going to cover something that I love?
I did music before this, so I've had opportunities to do like live performances. Like I've done shows opening up for Pusha T, YG on tour, Bun B. Just had a lot of different situations where I was able to get over the hump of any public speaking or sharing my gifts or ideas with people. And then I also had a couple of passion projects with like independent filmmaking and stuff like that. So having that a little bit in my repertoire, my Rolodex, being able to go back to that, I kind of lean on that a little bit as far as, okay, are people going to like this? How much do I care if people shit on it, or if I apologize if I can't use that language. My apologies.
No, it's fine. We can always edit things.
Great. So yeah, it's like, how much do I care if people are down on it, if I'm willing to, fight through the static until, I kind of reach my tribe. You know what I mean? Right. So that was kind of the thing for a little bit. It's like, how do we cut through the static and figure out, okay, who are the people that we need to get this content to, and who are the people that are out there looking for this content? So it's kind of just it's kind of a thing like that. Just kind of, that's how it was, just how do I get over that hump? I just lean on those experiences and kind of like, all right, man, if we're going to go for it, we're going to go for it. Because a lot of times it's like, if somebody's not going to say it, we're going to say it,
No.
We're going to say it, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
You just didn't care.
People uncomfortable, but
hey, man, we never had a problem. We've been doing public speaking for a long time. Yeah. Speaking in debates and acting and even acting in little plays and stuff. That takes heart to do that. We ain't never been. I don't think neither of the three have been ever just afraid to stand in front of anybody and say what we got to say.
For real though, like I was like, yo, I remember the first couple of episodes. I was kind of nervous when I came on. I don't know if it showed, but like I was kind of nervous to do it, and then it kind of went away once you kind of like realized like, yo, I'm just talking to, two of my friends.
Right.
And that's what it is.
And I just so happen to edit that and send it out, and we've amassed a little bit of an audience.
I mean, of course there's more to it, but
yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit, right?
Yeah, a little bit of Senorita secret sauce there.
Man, we started out recording on the phone with a mic. We was recording. Me and Graham was recording off his iPhone with a mic like this.
Yeah,
It's
one of the situations like, oh my god, the early episodes are really, really bad.
Oh my
really
God.
bad.
Those are some of the best ones.
I had one of those external microphones that you like plug in to like a standard headphone jack on like the old iPhone before they got rid of the headphone jack.
Yeah.
And so I would just plug in the microphone, set it in the middle of the table, and then just like, me and CJ, what are we talking about today?
Say something funny real quick. Say something funny. Okay.
Yo, the same way you feel about that is the same way I feel about the first episodes I was on, because I had a shitty mic. I'm sorry, I had a bad mic, and I plugged it in. It was like the same thing that you described, and I was like, I listened back to the episode and I was like, that sounds terrible.
We were recording off my phone when we first started doing YouTube. I would have my phone set up on my TV that was sitting on my Edge Funko Pop until I got a laptop finally. So like I didn't even have a laptop. Like we've literally come a long way.
That's true.
When was the last time you looked at your old episodes?
About a week ago. Actually, about a week ago.
Was it Big Baller Bailey Bucks?
No, about a week ago, we had a conversation about something that we're going to start doing on the show going forward, because we're gearing up for a bit of a revamp. Mm-hmm. So we kind of went back to episode 4 of the Public Enemies podcast. We are currently,
you can hear the hunger in that one.
Yeah, we're sitting just about I think right around 180. So we're getting close to 200 now. But last week I went back to episode 4 and found something that I thought was really funny and engaging that I can't quite share yet. But hey, if anybody's watching or reading or what have you, check out episode 4.
That's all you need to know.
Podcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and if you check out any episodes after that, we're sorry. We were really hungry and we ate a lot of candy. We ate a lot of candy.
And also we didn't get good until I don't even want to say when I think that we started to get good, but I feel like the first 40 some odd episodes were really rough as far as, are we hitting our stride? Are we presenting this are we executing the way that we thought that we were? Like once we really started getting into a groove, things really started picking up. And I'm like really, really grateful for those early episodes, because they taught us so much about like what not to do and how not to try to service the public with this particular product.
Right.
Cause we were just throwing stuff at the wall, man. Like we were just saying anything. Like
those are the outlaw days. It's like, is anybody listening?
Everybody has those days. Like, when you first start out, right?
Yeah, I think like we did like within like the first 20 episodes, we were like, you know what? No, we're gonna do an episode just dedicated strictly to Black wrestlers and Black performers, rooting for everybody Black. That whole Issa Rae thing, and she had the jacket or whatever it was, the dress or something. She said it on like a red carpet, I believe. Yeah, and it was like, you know what? We're running with this, man. We're gonna do a whole episode dedicated. Black people are gonna love it. Wrestling fans are gonna love it. And let me tell you, dog.
Nobody listened to nothing.
Nobody cared.
Nobody listened.
Nobody cared.
No, I did an in-depth deep dive on WrestleMania 9 in the early episodes, and that got more listens. And I'm like, ain't no way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well,
We
you know
didn't.
what? WrestleMania 9, an underrated show. Underrated show.
It's
You know,
definitely not.
in my opinion, I think WrestleMania 9 is the best, worst WrestleMania of all time. It was a horrible show, but it's super memorable for all the wrong reasons.
For
And
all
I
the
just
wrong
think
reasons.
that it's like one of those. That's actually another running trope that we have on the show. Anything at any point can kind of revert back to WrestleMania 9
Yeah,
or
WrestleMania
a
9 might
power
be the
line
backbone.
discussion. You know,
Yeah, it might be the backbone of the Public Enemies podcast itself. Is WrestleMania 9.
him and Power, the WrestleMania 9 and Powerline for sure.
You say Power?
I know this running gag. Whenever Power Line comes up, you mention you always want to jump on it.
Yo, for real.
Yo, man, he was Tevin Campbell. Like, did you know it was Tevin Campbell?
I didn't know that.
Hey man, if
crazy.
you ever happen to stumble across a Tevin Campbell connect, please send it our way.
Send it to
Yo.
Ben. Send it to Benjamin.
Yeah, man. Send it our way, man.
We have some questions for
Yeah,
Mr.
man.
Tevin Powerline Campbell.
Behind enemy lines, man. Tevin Campbell.
So, did you guys take it? Look, when you starting out early on? Did you guys look up to any podcasters or anybody? Not even just in wrestling, but anybody in the podcast community?
Yeah. Me personally, a little bit of the driving force behind this particular outfit, from my perspective, is people like Combat Jack, people like Joe Budden, people like I don't know how taboo or whatever it is to say his name in some spaces.
I like Joe Budden here.
Yeah. But also a mentor of mine is my brother Cameron Hawkins, who's a member of. You good? You good, bro?
I'm good. My bad.
All right,
That was my bad.
just double checking. I just want to check on my guy, man. Just want to check
I
on my guy.
appreciate that, man. See, you see the camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? Making sure that I'm not
friendship.
dying over here.
The Red Ranger.
man.
Go back to the Red Ranger.
Yeah, Black Ranger, you over there dancing and stuff. You good? Yeah, I'm good over here, man.
Yeah, man. So, gentleman that I had the pleasure of meeting in South by Southwest, Cameron Hawkins, he's over at PW Torch, also one of the people at the forefront of the Black Wrestlers Draw movement. Met that gentleman, became a fan of his style of attacking this particular space, and just kind of started asking questions and fielding, information from him, and just kind of funneling that into, what we do here. So yeah, a couple of people like that I would always show love to, in from my perspective of, what we've got going on here.
I've seen Button, we want to talk about taboo. Like I just seen, like, Rogan. You know what I'm saying? Because he was the first that was running out there. So I remember seeing a lot of his MMA stuff, and I was like, oh, okay. So, like, I always figured, because, like, I remember even growing up, I always knew I was wanted to talk for a living, because I like to talk, because I talk too much. So I was like, if I can talk, at least I can get paid for it. And radio seemed like it's still there, but it's. And then, like, podcasting just came out. Like, I was like, yo, if I could do a podcast, I would do it. I'm just technological. I'm in that when it comes to the technical side of stuff. Like, all I know how to do is show up and talk. So, like,
little did I know that this was going to become like the new everybody raps thing. Everybody has a podcast now, and it's like, Jesus, this space is so oversaturated. I didn't know that this is what we were getting into, and but we're here.
Yeah,
for real.
Shark-infested waters.
I think the best way to navigate this space, for the most part, like you said, like yo, everybody got podcasts. It's like, yo, but not a lot of them. Like, yo, you see Black Wrestling podcasts, but, like, some of them aren't, like, unapologetically Black, and that's what I love about us. And there are a few others where we don't try to, like, water it down or anything like that. Like, just put it all out there.
Yes, indeed.
I was gonna say, like when you guys, joined the podcasting game, and I think we're talking about like 2018, 2019.
2018.
2018, right? 2018. So like we're talking about then it was like you want to call it saturated. It was saturated back then. Even now it's saturated. But like one of the things I appreciate about you guys is you guys are able to present something where it is so different than everybody else in most podcasts that you guys stand out and you guys keep like I said in this pro wrestling industry where a lot of coverage of pro wrestling sounds the same from everybody else's. You guys have made something different and it stands on its own.
Yeah, man. I think because because we're real, and like I'm talking about like fans, like we like the fans that say that we don't know wrestling and that attack us on the line from both sides. You know what I'm saying? Like me, Graham, Ben, we've been watching wrestling since we were like babies. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we can run with the references, and we can take the references and then connect it to something that we like. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we love rap music and we love wrestling, and then we can always make something correlate between those two, and or anime or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are real fans, like, and that's what, and we're jaded. You know what I'm saying? We're tired of it. You know what I'm saying? When you grow up jaded as a jaded wrestling fan, when you've been made fun of for being a wrestling fan, but nobody's gonna say nothing to you because you'll beat them up. And
right.
It's crazy. So like just to even recognize that there were fans out there like us who were just like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I might have done some frivolous illegal things in my youth, you know what I'm saying? But I've always loved wrestling though.
Like, yo, for real, like, and it always like makes me like laugh to myself. People are like, oh, you're just a WWE fan, and I'm like, yo, I've watched probably more New Japan than a lot of people like who are talking shit about us probably having their entire lives. Like I used to love, like I would like watch New Japan from like the early 90s and the 2000s stuff, like even the stuff when they brought in Bob Sapp. Like I loved New Japan. And so people are like, yo, you're a WWE drone, you're just a WWE fan. I'm like, I watch it all. I just have this certain opinion that you don't happen to agree on.
Not all. We watched WCW. Like I watched ECW back when they had the hot box on cable. You had the hot box on BET Action, like back when that came on BET Action. Like I watched ECW over there. Like we've been fans literally our whole lives. So I think that's why when we say stuff and we talk about like, man, ain't enough of us in there because we've seen it and we ain't seen enough of us in it since we were children. Right. So now we get to say it, and then saying and nobody can do nothing about it.
RP to the hot boxes, by the way.
Yeah, man.
What a great era.
Always.
Oh man, amazing.
Yeah, man. Can't do that no more. You know what I'm saying?
No. Well, you can.
I mean, you can. It's the Fire Stick now.
Yeah. Can we say
it's
that?
The Fire Stick now.
Yo.
Can we say that on air?
Oh wait, shit.
Hey, the fire. Hey, yo, man. How do you not make a business out of that? Like, yo, man, I unlock fire sticks. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got an unlock fire stick dude or unlock iPhone dude.
For real. For real.
Fans taking pictures.
Hey, man, never. I can't do it.
I can't either.
I got one.
Allegedly.
I got the Android. They mad at me.
Allegedly.
Yes,
Allegedly.
What a great word.
Yeah, that saves everything.
That saves
everything.
It does.
Saves everything. Allegedly. I like that.
I didn't mean it.
One of the things that, like, becoming a content creator and covering pro wrestling especially is, as your channel is growing, your social media game is growing, a lot of hate comes from that, man. And as you get a lot of love from the people and from social media and from your podcast shows, a lot of hate comes with that. How do you guys deal with the negativity that's in pro wrestling right now?
Not well.
Everybody has opinions. Everybody has opinions. We don't take wrestling too seriously because this is supposed to be a fun thing. We're supposed to enjoy this entertainment. I know a lot of people get really weird with the word entertainment and professional wrestling because of the whole sports entertainment thing. But honestly,
not a sports entertainer. I'm a wrestler. Like,
it's all the same thing.
Okay, I'm like, yo, you doing comedy spots? Are you doing like little backstage vignettes? Okay, you're you're a sports entertainer. I mean, that's another conversation for another time. But like, yo,
is it a poet spoken word?
For real. Like when it comes to getting hate on the social media side of it, a lot of it, I try not to like give too much power to it. Like if I see somebody say something like, "Oh, y'all stupid," I'll scroll past it. Sometimes if I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to say like moody. If I'm like, I'll put somebody on blast. But for the most part, I like to just, move past it and like, put my opinion out there. If it gets love, like, I appreciate that's cool. But if it gets hate, I'm just like, yeah, people have different opinions.
And that's when I come in with the negativity. No, I want all of it. They'll tell you. I'll be in the group chat like, listen, dog. Like anybody say anything, like let me know. Especially now I got control of the Twitter
this
guy. Like he has to like both of them. Like they have to stop me. Like like why do you want to say that to this person? I'm like, hey, like I take a lot. Like I don't take it personal. But I take it personal because I know how much we put into this. Right. And like and know what we meant by what we're saying, and like you don't have to. I can understand you disagreeing with us, but just like if you want to be flat out rude to some people who are way more rude than you are, and who are willing to go there, it's just like we have to stop ourselves sometimes. So I understand it, but. But sometimes I take it in stride every day, and I get a little better and better every day with the little negativity. Because I'm like, hey, man, somebody's gonna hate, so I'm just like, hey, man, whatever. You just hating because you can't do it.
Like sometimes I'll be putting stuff out there, and then like it'll get like sometimes like a mixed reaction, and I look at the numbers. Like yesterday, I was at work and I tweeted something from the page, put my phone down, went back to what I was doing. I came back like maybe an hour later, and I'm like, the notifications were in shambles, and I'm like. Oh, and it brings me back to realization. I'm like, oh, we're a thing now.
Yeah, we're kind of a thing now.
People are watching.
Yeah. People care about what we're saying.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of days ago, somebody in the mentions, they weren't even in our mentions, but someone else was like talking about us. And like I saw like a couple of people in the mentions saying, I like those guys, they're okay, or like I don't like those guys type thing. And then somebody's like, I just wish they would like ease up just a little bit, just calm down, maybe reel it in just a little bit. I'm like, okay, if we do that, say we stop and we just fall back for like a week.
Right.
You'll notice like all of You'll notice all of the people that are you'll notice all of the people that are remixing the sauce, remixing what we're doing over here. You'll see that kind of pop up, and then you'll have to deal with the great value version of the Public Enemies until you come back.
How much the PE3 rounds gonna come out your fat lips? Like that was basically what we're gonna say. You know what I mean? Like because you can't do it like how we do it.
Like the moment I kind of realized like we were picking up steam as I was casually scrolling my newsfeed on my personal account and I saw somebody do like a little tweet where they'd be like, yo, the screenshot tweet that somebody's made and they'll put like little picture next to it like blocked. Like I was like, oh
yeah.
I was like, oh wow. I was like, I should be mad about this, but I'm flattered.
And we were like,
Grant, what was the topic?
How do we deal with the negativity?
I have a feeling no, not that, but like, what was the topic that people were saying that I wish they would ease up on? I have a feeling I know what the topic is, and if I take a guess, I probably could get it.
It was the Sunny Kiss tweet.
Oh, okay. I was not expecting. I was going to say Tessa Blanchard.
No, it was the Sunny Kiss tweet.
People pretty much in line step with us when it comes to Tessa Blanchard. Yeah. I'm saying can't be saying that, Tessa. Come on.
Shout out to Sunny Kiss, by the way.
Shout out to Sunny Kiss. She like man. They took they tried to take our tweet and bury it into the ground because we were just trying to put the fact out that we thought that Sunny Kiss going with Kenny Omega was going to lead to something. And they told us to be patient, and we've been 365 days worth of patient, and we haven't seen nothing. Yeah. And then Sunny was like, "Oh, can't believe that it's been a year." and like just really took
Yeah,
it
like
and then spun it to positivity, man. So shout out to Sonny for real.
For real, like a lot of time that bugs me. That whole like, oh, y'all gotta wait. It's gonna play into something because I've heard that since 2007 when MVP was tagging with Matt Hardy, and they told me, hold on, wait, he's gonna become a world champion. You just gotta wait. Like I've been hearing that since then, so it kind of bugs me that every time it's like a black wrestler or a black talent, or not even just a black wrestler or black talent, like a minority.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, you're always told we gotta wait to see how it plays out. I promise you it's going somewhere, and then you see down the road, you're like in this case, like okay, like last year, I was talking about it on my personal page, and everybody was like in the replies to the tweet, like you just gotta wait. This is what I hate about wrestling fans. Y'all are never patient. You're so short-sighted. I promise you it's gonna go somewhere. And so I thought about that yesterday. I was like, yo, it's been a whole year. And like nothing has happened. And I feel like I don't like it when we're put on the back burner and just like told like, okay, you got to wait your time because like we don't want to wait anymore.
That's and not to jump in and cut you off, but that's with anything in any space concerning Black culture right now. Like we don't want to wait any longer for people to say, "Oh, your time is going to come." I'm like even like in music, in sports culture, in politics, whatever avenue you want to look at right now, there is a grassroots movement with Black people and Black culture and people that are really making progressive steps right now. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's amazing to see.
Yeah, Black's been selling since the 1850s. If you want to be real, you know what I'm saying? Like Black's been selling. Like you can't put us in the back, especially in wrestling. You can't put us in the back burner, but then push us in the front. I'm saying to sell your stuff. You know what I'm saying? You want us to sell your merch. You know what I mean? You want to put us in your commercials to sell to push your charities that you really don't care about. You know what I mean?
Real,
like it's our faces out there. That's out there taking them. Like they got Titus O'Neil doing everything. But you don't even want to give him an ounce. Like that's the stuff that we talk about. Like we're always going to point out that disparity.
Yeah, like I feel that way when it comes to this podcast. Like that's why, you know, like people like Graham said, like people like, oh, I wish they would dial it back. Like, no, we're not dialing back, and in fact, we're gonna turn it up even more because we're trying to push this to the forefront because like Black wrestling podcasts, like a few years ago, I hadn't even heard of any. Like I didn't know any. And then I heard about like a few here, a few there. And like over the past couple of years, you see a lot of them popping up. And that's becoming the new wave. It's no longer like, okay, well, you know, this is like a niche sort of thing. Like it's becoming regular. And I'm glad to see it. Like I'm glad to see I'm glad when everybody's eating on that end. Mm-hmm. Like, because our time is coming up. Like, Spotify deals are gonna be on the table pretty soon. Like, exclusive like iTunes deals are gonna be on the table pretty soon. Like, yo, it's only a matter of time.
Ray Khan, Ray J, call us. We will wear your earphones.
Yeah, you need somebody to sell your product. That's never mind.
Yeah, this podcast is built on WrestleMania 9 and Ray J quotes.
I mean, those Raycons, they are actually good. They are actually good.
Say, yo, shit's all right.
They all right.
They all right.
You get a promo.
Would you get them glasses? Would you get them glasses that went down like this though? Like,
no.
Yeah, okay, good.
No. Those came and went really fast. You know, the thing I'm glad. One of the great things about your podcast and what you guys do, I don't think anybody has even mentioned the Sonny Kiss situation. Like that whole situation of, hey, we're gonna see where it goes and stuff like that. Like situations like that, those come and go, and then a year later we'll reflect back on it and we'll talk about how, oh, you know, remember this back in the day, like kind of like the Kofi King situation. With Kofi Kingston, it was hey, wait and see. This is a big grand thing, where you know he lost in 6 seconds.
Yeah,
maybe less than that.
We just talked about like that earlier this month. Like I think the anniversary of it is like around the 2nd or like 6th of October or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and we had said, okay, like after it's been like a full year, like where did this go? And like looking at it, it went nowhere. Even back to like 2009, people were saying like, oh, you gotta wait, like it's gonna like something's gonna happen for Kofi. Like, yo, not everything that you think like is like when a story gets cut off or something like that, it's not gonna always spin out into something else that happens. Kofi Kingston, like that did happen to do that, but that's like a 1 in a million. Like a lot of times if you see somebody get cut off and the storyline gets in wrestling, they get cut off abruptly. A lot of the times it's not gonna go anywhere.
Right.
A lot of times it's not gonna get picked back up. Like in Kofi's situation, like it did happen to, but that's not the case for everybody.
Fans get behind black wrestlers organically all the time, and then most of the time they just be like, huh. You know what I'm saying? Like Kofi's been I remember Kofi was a big thing in 2009, 2010. I saw him at WrestleMania at WrestleMania 25 in Houston. Like I drove there with the homies, and we heard that crowd once SOS came on. I was drunk. You know what I mean? So I was yelling. And it's like funny. Just like they've been like remember the whole Naomi thing, like when she came out in the Royal Rumble, and then like it was like Naomi deserves better. Like there are reasons for that. Like you don't know the like I know like I'm saying Graham has a queen that he's raising, and like that's like you want a woman. A black woman wrestler, you know what I'm saying, that
they can look up to, that positive representation.
That's positive, you know what I'm saying, just by being herself, you know what I mean, like, because that's what it's all about. And I don't know, man, like, we're not going to tone it down. We're always going to big up our own people.
Backing off the negativity and having to deal with that, you guys are, trying to cover what seems to be a wrestling war. You guys are covering AEW, this new promotion that's creating waves and have a strong fan base, and you're also covering a promotion that you probably grew up watching with WWE. How has it been being able to balance that in trying to interact with fans that are so strongly with one side and strongly against the other?
It's weird, man, because a lot of the fans are like I said, jaded fans. You know what I'm saying? That's been watching WWE for so long and wanting to, you know what I mean, just finally looking for something different. They couldn't get behind TNA because TNA kept getting in their own way. And then New Japan sometimes it's just New Japan is just like, that strong style is a lot for somebody to take into the Bullet Club over there and start doing their thing. But AEW, man, just I don't know, man. Like it was like a breath of fresh air, because like, yo, man, finally, like something that we can, something else that we can, something that because competition ain't a bad thing. You know what I mean? Competition always pushes
for real.
They push each other to do stuff, man. Like that's why we always say, like, you can like both, right?
Exactly. That's like what we say like all the time. Like we're not signed to AEW, we're not signed to WWE. Like we're gonna talk about what we like. And sometimes like we get some hate off of it, but for the most part, like we don't really care.
We don't.
Like I think that's what like keeps us going for the most part. Like, yo, like even last night, like with AEW and WWE sort of counter booking each other, like,
yeah,
why are you mad that they're putting on good matches over here and they're putting on good matches over here? Like, you can enjoy them both. Like, you don't have to pick a side. You're not, unless you're signed to a contract. Relax.
Promise you, they're not thinking about you.
No, but they're all friends.
They're not all friends. We got to stop that. They're not all friends.
Most
of them are friends.
I mean, Roman Reigns doesn't think.
Roman Reigns,
yeah. Roman is like, yo, you beef with me, you beef with me forever.
Yeah.
For real. Like,
CM Punk is not moving.
CM Punk.
He's not moving.
Nah, bro. Yeah. Yo, CM Punk. He said, "We into it till you die." So
is Roman Reigns the 50 Cent of wrestling?
Right now, yeah, he's really taking on that role of yo. He's pretty much in character like all the time now. It seems like and he's just like yo.
Like he did the thing where they buy, or the little thing, the show online. I can't remember the name of it, where they buy shoes or whatever. Like he was doing his
shopper.
thing then. Yeah, sneak shop. Like he was doing his thing then. He was like, yo, staying in character. Like, yo, tribal chief needs to wear these or whatever. Like, I appreciate that.
He's heard a lot. You know what I'm saying? Roman Reigns has been through a lot, man. He's been through a lot in this business, man. He was force fed down a lot of people's throats and then had to deal with being that good guy who got booed all the time, and then to come back from that to be where he is now. Like, yeah, he's been waiting to say this. Like, yeah, I've been waiting to say this to some of y'all.
With it. He's still dealing with a lot of misplaced anger because a lot of people were angry at Roman Reigns, the person, and not like the machine that was behind him that was pushing him down your throat. Like you can't honestly think like, yo, he wants to come out here and do the same character night in and night out that you're booing him and that you hate. Like, yo, you people gotta.
It comes at a price. Like, this is the price of fame. Like, when you got the look, like when they give you, like when they deem you as having the look and to having a push,
right?
Like, what am I supposed to do with it? Like, what am I supposed to do? Say no? Like, nah, man, I don't want to be the biggest thing in wrestling right now. Nah, man, nah. Like, no, I want to get all this money to be the champ all the time. Yeah, like, no, I don't want to go out there and beat everybody.
Like, nah, ew. Who wants that?
Yeah. Nah, man.
Who wants money?
Yeah, man. I want to be the Intercontinental champ.
Who needs money?
I want to be Intercontinental champ. Yeah, I want to be Roman Jarrett. I want to be like Jim Jarrett. Not like that.
Like, yo, because when he was
what is this? What is this whole generational
stuff? When he was on the upper mid card like a couple of years ago, when he wasn't competing in the world title scene, everybody was like, well, why isn't he competing for the world title? It's like, you can't win.
No, you can't.
I kind of feel like that may be the same with you guys, where you guys, are covering AEW, I think, fairly. You guys are covering WWE fairly. You've had critiques about AEW representation. You've had critiques about WWE representation. Do you guys feel like there is no winning whatsoever? Like, regardless of what you say, there's still gonna be backlash, and you just like, how do you move out of that? And do you guys just say, screw it, I'm just gonna be me and just be honest?
That's it.
Being honest. It's about being honest, because they're not gonna like it anyway. Either you're gonna like it or you don't. But at least you know that it's genuine and it's coming from the heart. As long as it does that, I think I'm willing to deal with whatever comes with it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that a good 80% of the tweets that come from that page are jokes.
Yeah.
Great percentage are jokes. And then people will be like, you're trying to spread a false narrative about this wrestler. And it's like, dude, I'm just cracking joke. Like we tweeted something about Kevin Owens because his contract runs up in like January or something like that, or whatever. And his picture, I don't know if you've seen the picture where he just hanging his head on the turnbuckle and he looks like sad or whatever. So they had done that. Like they had done this whole like bit at a live show where Seth Rollins making his entrance and he's like, oh God, and throws his head down there. So we made a tweet where it's like, yo, he looked like he ready to leave WWE. And it was a joke. And then people were like, oh, y'all trying to spread a false narrative. Why y'all being weird? And I'm like, yo, do I have to put laughing emojis and say LOL around everything for you to know it's a joke?
No, that's what you do when you're nervous and you trying to get at the girl. You feel me? And you like, so when you gonna let me take you out to dinner, huh? LOL.
LOL.
Exactly. Hey, bro, be a straight shooter.
Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know, man. I think it's very interesting because like Ben said, like Jizzle said, like a lot of those tweets that come from our page are pretty much jokes, or we're speaking like in hyperbole or something, but people take that and they assume that we don't know the facts, or
exactly.
When
I saw that video that morning.
Give me just a second. When we hit them with truth, when we hit them with just like blatant fact, like you saw this, I saw this, we all saw this happened, and now where are we? Oh, you're spreading a narrative. Oh, give it time. Oh, it'll happen. Oh, why are y'all like this? Oh, like it's
backtracking.
Nuts. It's nuts. It's crazy. But yeah, like you said, is there any winning? I don't know. Like, I feel like everybody has an opinion and everybody's, free to share their differing opinions. I think that's what, makes this space fun. Just sharing information. You don't have to agree with everybody. You don't like that. You don't have to watch everything. You don't have to like everything, but find what you like, enjoy what you like, and like have fun, like loosen up a little bit.
man. Enjoy the time and don't come at us because it's not going to end well for you. It never does. Like it never ends well. Like anytime that anybody's ever tried to save, it never ended well for them. Like so, don't even. So you might as well just enjoy the wrestling like we do and leave us alone. Because one day you're gonna be like, oh my god, they don't miss it. Another day it's like, oh my god, this is why I hate them. So like, as long as it's coming from the heart, just and we mean it, and we do, and just that's all. We'll deal with anything that comes with it.
And that's a warning from CJ, who Graham may not be able to hold back from firing on some shots.
Hey,
Making
man.
CJ on a bad day.
Yo, man.
Sometimes you just gotta let it happen.
He be like, go ahead. Sometimes he be like, go ahead. I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying?
Green light.
That's when I'll be like, all right, cool, let's let it play out. I'll give it time.
Like, yo, don't say that. All right, I ain't gonna say that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: like, so right now, you guys cover both AEW and WWE. From a content perspective, like being able to produce the best content, which do you prefer better, covering AEW or covering WWE?
I don't have a preference. I feel like we on our show cover like wrestling and then like a lot of topics outside of wrestling. So I don't really have a preference as far as what company I feel like is providing better. Like I don't know. I feel like it's pretty even across the board. I just kind of look at it all the same. It's all wrestling, it's all content. They're all doing the same thing. It's just on this channel, on this network, this group of people, that group of people. But I don't really look at it like that. So I mean, if one of you guys has a differing opinion of it,
I
then
mean, like,
please feel free.
yo, I like whoever's gonna cut me a check.
Right.
Yeah, man,
Hey,
who wanna pay us?
Hey, we Meltzer, man. We the black.
Yeah, Black Meltzer.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yo, I got I got issues with. I love both of them, but I got issues with both of them too. So it's kind of like I don't want to give like the cop out answer, but like, yo, it's for real. Like, yo, they're on the same level with me on both sides.
PE3, aka BWO, the Black Wrestling Observer. You know what I'm saying?
BWO. You know what I'm saying? Let's say
Put on the
bull.
t-shirt.
We'll take
Yo,
a check. We'll take a
Yeah.
check.
Yeah, man, I'll sell out in a heartbeat. But yeah,
Yo,
like, I don't know
for real. Like I be seeing people in the applause talking about like, oh y'all, oh you must be working for Vince McMahon, you must be working for Tony Khan. Look, if they came to me right now, I was like, yo, I'm gonna cut you a deal. You talk about us and only us. I'm like, yo, where do I sign?
Hey man, we got to play for the G League for a minute. GCW, holla at us.
For real. If anybody need us to talk to us, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Hey, look, did you see AEW Dark Elevation Revolution awesomeness today? Like it was crazy. You have to watch it.
Crazy.
Wow. I don't think I have a preference either, but I just like poking holes in the AEW stuff sometimes on purpose, just because I just want to see, because I want, like, I invite the smoke sometimes,
Right.
because like, if you're gonna poke holes in one, then I'm gonna poke holes, then you got to poke holes in the other, and then when you're new, you have a lot of holes, man. Like
yo,
on,
that's
man.
like a big deal with us. Like we're gonna be honest about both of the products, and I think that's what a lot of people have a problem with, because there's a lot of people are still in the honeymoon phase when it comes to AEW, and like if they'll make a mistake or do something, then they'll kind of make an excuse for it. But then if WWE does the same thing, they'll like vilify them and be like, well, you know, Vince is the devil, or what have you, whatever they say. So we like to be like, if we're gonna be on them we're gonna criticize them, we're gonna criticize you too. It's like yo, transparency across the board.
Yeah,
And a lot of people don't like that. For real.
Anybody can get it. Yeah, Graham said it. Anybody can get it, including you. So you better enjoy the show, because we all, like, it's just like, it's fun. Like there's room for critique and everything. So we're just gonna critique everything. That's the only way to be fair.
That's the only way to be fair. Like it is, this wrestling. I didn't grow up during the Attitude Era. I didn't experience that, like WCW versus WWE. So like, this is my first time
Me neither.
experiencing. Like, yeah, Ben, this is the first time experiencing this. Like I've never seen like such hate on. For me, like it's kind of like what the Ja Rule and 50 Cent was, where it's like, like, or for younger, it's like what Meek Mill and Drake was.
Yeah.
Where like you gotta like pick a side and you gotta stay on that side, and there's so much hate where like you're getting good content from both people. Like let's enjoy that, and let's we could look at one is doing some messed up stuff, the other person doing messed up stuff. We could also appreciate what they're doing as well. Like what's called fair is fair, and let's enjoy what we're getting because we're getting a great amount of content right now.
For
Yeah.
real.
Competition pushes everything. Competition makes everybody better.
And controversy creates cash.
Well,
And it
but you
does.
season that.
Eric Bischoff.
how much is the cast worth? Is always the question, right?
Yeah, but honestly, that's what these wrestling companies' bottom line is. So that's what as far as like if you're gonna pick a side and hey, just get behind the people that you want to support. Support them, on your social media. Support them with your money. Support them, by purchasing the merch and all of that stuff because that's what the bottom line is. They care about the money. If the money is going a certain way, that's the way that the company is gonna go.
Right. Don't let them Tony Khan Braveheart speeches fool you. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's about the bottom line. Okay, like you guys acting like he was like, I'm about the wrestling purity, and I'm a fan who's going with a passion project. Like, nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you've seen Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence out there, but they 0-5, and this thing better start hitting.
Yo, for real. Like you like I think they still in the red. Like I remember like when they were talking about like the video game coming out, they're like, oh, we 1 million plus in the red. Tony Khan's like, yo, I put my own money into that video game. It's like, yo, you better hope it sells.
Yeah,
but
it will.
You let Jalen Ramsey and Miles Jack go for this? Like, all right, bro. That was cool.
No, but that's for sure Tony Khan to the developers. Like, y'all better do this and do this right because this ain't no investor money. This came from my pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Better not give me no 2K20.
Like, no, I'm getting this back. Oh, for sure. Nobody wants that 2K20.
Oh my goodness.
God.
Shout out to 2K20 Psych.
Man, that whole 2K thing just keep getting pushed back like Stephen A hairline. It's crazy.
That detox gonna come out before that 2K22 come out.
Man.
Well, technically, detox did come out.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time. Technically, we did get detox. It wasn't called detox, but you got
it was called the Straight Outta Compton soundtrack.
Yeah,
it had gunfire on there.
we ever heard of gunfire this whole entire interview? Yeah, gunfire.
Yeah, I can do that.
Can you muster up some guns? Oh man, I'm glad you wanted that.
This is an impromptu. I was like, you know what? I need more gunshots.
You looking for the violence, man? Is that what you're doing? You choosing violence?
What's the little SNL thing? I need more cowboy. I need more gunshots.
Hey, yo, man. Hey, that was a time when we were just going through gunshots to see which gunshot sounded the best. It was like, which gunshot? Like this one? Like this one? He's like, no, that one's too fast, man. That's a Draco. I don't want the Draco now.
We was going to need the.
There we go.
If I'd have known
interview without a gunshot.
You know what? You're right. My apologies.
Bang, 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 bang.
There you go. A little echo with that too.
Right.
So, speaking on the Public Enemy podcast, what is next for you guys? Like, what is the next step, and what is the goal that you want to achieve?
Man, next step for us right now is just continuing to try to improve on the quality of the show, continuing to build on what we're doing here with the socials, continuing to just find great things to talk about and bring that to the public. We are working right now on bringing back our interview series, Behind Enemy Lines. We started that earlier this year. We only did like 2 interviews, but we have like so many things confirmed in the can as far as the list of people that we want to talk to. Right. So we're just gonna get back to that, start knocking that list off. within the coming months, we may be doing some additional content, like a Patreon,
Nice.
possibly. But we've got a lot of different ideas as far as just extra content that we can provide to the space that we think is going to be really refreshing and a lot more fun than it is to just talk about wrestling and like what happened on like the show yesterday. But let's have fun with the entire thing. Like let's play with some of the history a little bit. Let's play on some of our favorite situations between competitors. Let's play on some of our favorite dream matches and scenarios and sequences and things like that. Just so we're just trying to find just other ways that we could kind of bring some cool content to the space.
Yeah. Let's talk about WrestleMania 9 again.
Yeah, definitely. That's
probably
probably going to happen.
I mean,
probably
hey, I'm surprised there isn't a Public Enemy Discord.
So we tried that.
Let me hear the story.
Yeah, give it a shot.
There's not much of a story there.
Okay.
Honestly, there's not much of a story there. We tried it. It wasn't consistent enough, just as far as having somebody there to make sure that something was happening.
Moderators?
Yeah. You know, when you so check this out. You know, when you have like your quarterback, right? And if your quarterback goes down, you got like your second string quarterback, you know, you bring in your backup, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then if your backup goes down, you got like your third string quarterback, right? And then if that guy goes down and you don't have anybody else, you got to go shopping for a quarterback, right?
Right.
We got to go shopping for somebody to run the Discord.
Still looking in the draft right now. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Man.
Spencer Rattler got taken out. So I don't know.
Man. See whatever Brock Osweiler is doing right now, man. I don't know, man. Just, hey, man. You want to run that Discord, man?
Yeah, Cam Newton, what are you doing? So I know you're writing in hieroglyphics on Twitter right now, but listen, can you run the Discord for us?
I don't know. Cam might become a distraction. He might be a distraction in the Discord.
He had a top hat with the top part of the top hat out of it.
You think he bought it like that, or you think he got the hat and just like cut the top out?
No, he's making these hats.
It's just a TV hat because he took the O out of the top hat. You know what I'm saying?
First of all, Cam Newton ain't cut that dang hat himself. If that was the case, he's got assistants and people for that. He actually hired the hat cutter.
But
a bunch of celebrities are trying to hire. Celebrities are trying to hire like weed rollers and stuff like that, like Seth Rogen and like Waka Flocka are like, yo, hire somebody to just follow me around and just roll up weed for me. Yeah, there you go. Do the same thing with that.
Who wants to cut the top out of my hat for y'all?
Yeah, man, there you go. That's the whole job, man. Just cut the top out of all of these Pharrell hats that I got.
Hey, man, look, Cam Newton creating jobs, and y'all don't want this man to have a quarterbacking job. Look at y'all.
Yo, I think, in all honesty, I think Washington needs to pick him up just for this reason alone. I just want to see Cam Newton wear a powdered wig. That's all. That's the only reason I want him to go to Washington.
You know what? I was trying to go through this interview, like trying to be straight face. It's just hard to do it. It's hard.
It doesn't work, brother.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Sorry.
I knew in minute one, I was like, you know what? Screw it. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. And before I let you go, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, 4 questions. One of them being, what was the moment in pro wrestling that made you guys a fan?
Oh man, I don't even want to talk. Man, I don't get probably because I don't want to, because like you. Also, this podcast is built on the hatred of one Terry Bollea, who is we dubbed him as the rambling racist. And a lot of us, I know Graham, you know what I'm saying, us being 80s babies, you know what I mean, wrestling fans, like we all were part of that cult that said our prayers and ate our vitamins and don't talk to my daughter and
yo, chill.
And
Tell him to change.
It was just, but I think because like I said, my favorite wrestler ever is Bret Hart, right? So like right when I was starting to get
That's
to
so
understand,
unfortunate.
hey man, listen, man. Listen, your dude lost his smile, all right. I don't know why he lost his smile, but you know what I'm saying. He lost his smile and the
Hey
cookies.
man,
in the
tell
same
your
night.
story, brother. Tell your
Listen, let me
story.
tell you something.
Yo, you can tell your story without bashing the greatest wrestler of all time.
I could also tell my story without him saying like, man, that's unfortunate either, right? But he wanted to say that, so that I had to address that. So this is the exact podcast. This is exactly what we do every single time.
Little snippet, you guys.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Once I seen somebody who was just like beating up everybody that was bigger than him, I was just like, yo, kick him in the leg. That's smart. Kick him in the leg, son. So yeah.
Now you ain't got no leg. Now what you go? You ain't got no leg, Lieutenant Dan.
Bro, what you gonna do now? You can't walk, bro. Like, listen, bro, you can't walk no more. I don't care if you 7 feet. How you 7 feet if you got one knee? We both the same height now. Now I'm kicking your head. Here's a sharpshooter. So yeah. So I think probably Bret Hart winning, seeing like a small dude finally win. I was like, oh yeah. So that'll probably be for me.
My father used to take me to a lot of WCW events, like in the mid 90s, early 90s, you know, come to the Cow Palace in San Francisco and stuff like that. So it was like a lot of like house shows, a couple of live events and stuff like that. But mainly it was like house shows and stuff. But just man, like when I was young, like my parents would get me to eat my vegetables by saying, hey, who do you want to grow up to be big and strong like? The Rambling Racist. Of course I want to be big and strong like the Rambling Racist. Like, have you seen that guy? He's great. You know, family values. He's all about you know what I'm saying? He's all about the Lord. You know what I'm saying? He wears a cross. You know what I'm saying? He tells the kids that, you know what I'm saying, say their prayers. You tell me to say my prayers all the time. I'm for sure gonna eat these little carrots right here. Of course. You know what I'm saying? But it was definitely the Rambling Racist for me. I remember I had an aunt who's just like really, really good at like sewing, and she like made me an entire like Hulk Hogan like outfit. I can't believe I just said his name. I'm gonna be so upset with myself for so long. I'm gonna be so upset with myself. But she made me she made me a Rambling Racist outfit, headband, like the dog. It was nuts. I don't like I can find the picture, but I'd rather not. But
yo, you gotta get that in the group chat.
Dog, I did a whole mixtape called The Hulkamaniac where I'm on the cover.
Oh,
and I searched the other day on Twitter. It was like, because I had a conversation with Emilio Sparks in like 2014, and this gentleman from the Wrestle Rap podcast. And I got to talk to him again and let him know, like, hey, remember this? Like the first time we actually had a conversation that we didn't know that we were gonna be having conversations again about different stuff. But yeah, it was definitely the Rambling Racist for me. When I saw Shawn Michaels, though, I think that's when things really, really changed. When I like the Rockers were cool, but when I saw him like really coming into his own before he lost his smile, that dude was just on another level. And then after he lost his smile, got it back, became born again, started praising the Lord, you know what I'm saying? Even though he's cockeyed like Biggie now, you know what I'm saying? But he's the GOAT, man. Like, what can you say? Like, the dog. Like, I don't care what you say about this gentleman. He is the GOAT.
Somebody say from Grand Theft Auto.
As long as his eyes looking the right way when he kicks somebody, you're good. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was always on point when he kicked them.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying? Like, either it might hit you right here, but say, but it still hit you in the ear. You know what I'm saying? Just fall down like it happened.
I think my moment for me, because I grew up and my uncle was like a huge wrestling fan. And when I was little, like he had like, I forget, like a bunch of WrestleManias like on VHS. And I would watch him when he wasn't there. My grandma would watch him. She'd be like, just make sure, you put him back or whatever, because he's particular about his stuff. So I watched WrestleMania 3, and he had left off right before like the whole Macho Man versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. So that's the first match that I remember watching.
Wow.
Was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage. And I was always when I saw like like old like clips and stuff like that, I was always like a Macho Man guy because my mom would always be like, "Yo, that's the guy from the Slim Jim." Like, she's like, "Oh yeah," she'd be like, "Yo, yeah," and he was on Arsenio Hall a bunch of times, and she would be like, "Yo, that's how I know him." And I didn't watch wrestling for a long time because I grew up in a very religious household when I was younger. When I got older, my dad didn't really care about it. When I was like young, he was kind of like kind of putting the pressure on, like, okay, you can't be watching this, you can't be watching that. And I think it was about maybe around the time of 2006, 2007. I hadn't been watching wrestling for like a long time. And I had started like going through childhood depression. Like I was like extremely depressed. Like I didn't want to do anything. And one night I was just flipping through the channels, you know, seeing what was on, and I came across SmackDown, and I was like, oh, you know, wrestling. So I was like, you know, let me just turn this on to kind of like waste some time or whatever. And the first person I saw in there when I started watching it back was like MVP and Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy and Kane. And then you get to the main event and it was like Undertaker and Edge. Like,
yeah,
I was like, yo, I'm hooked. I was like, yo, I love this. And I haven't like literally, like I've had times where I've taken like breaks in between watching it. Like, I'll take like a few months off from watching it like here and there. But that's when like I became like a full-fledged fan. Like my first favorite wrestler was The Undertaker. And like, yo, and we found out some things about The Undertaker. Like, he was kind of like,
there's a running theme with this list so far.
Yeah. You done it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yo, like it was just like it was just something, and it was at first it started as something like, yo, would make me stop thinking about like, yo, like I was depressed or whatever. It made like took my mind off of it, and then it became like sort of like a passion and something that I loved. Because I trained to be a professional wrestler for a little bit too.
Right.
So it was always something that I loved like to do, loved to watch, loved to have it around.
What was gonna be a wrestling name?
I hadn't developed a name. I was just like, the guys who were training me, they were kind of like, you know what, like we're gonna teach you the basics, gonna teach you, because they were really good about that. They're like, we'll teach you the basics, we'll teach you like etiquette, history on wrestling, all that stuff. So when you get out there, you'll know what you're doing. So they taught me like little things like, okay, you know, you got to be respectful to this, you got to be respectful to these guys, you got to do this, this, and this. And they're not in business anymore. Their name of the company was GXW. Great guys.
I know we're not gonna let him get that off. We're not gonna let him get that off.
So
we're gonna let him get that off.
I was gonna
ask, jamming.
You said you didn't have a name. What was going to be your name?
Right.
I hadn't developed it. I hadn't developed it. They told me. They said,
you never thought about it. You never thought about it, like on your personal time.
I didn't think about it because I went in there and I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be like a canvas. Like, yo, we'll come up with it later on." Because that's what they said. They're like, "Yo, we're gonna give you a name, but the thing is, you gotta earn your name." You gotta go through all this stuff. Like, yo, you gotta
earn your name. This ain't Three Ninjas. Man, listen, though, your name is gonna be Benjamin, because I knew my wrestling name was gonna be CJ Beretta. You know what I'm saying? Like CJ Beretta. I would have two guns. I would shoot myself up like
I will tell you this. Like I used to wear like whenever I would go training, I'd wear like a Superman like muscle tee. And so I was like, I had like 3 or 4 of them, and I would just wear them every time I went to training. And the guy was like, yo, he couldn't remember my name, but he was like, yo, I like you, kid, so I'm gonna start calling you Super Jack.
Super Jack?
Super Jack. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Super Jamming. Hey, Super Jamming probably would have been.
That actually works. CJ Beretta's a great name, though.
Yo, CJ Beretta.
Black
you know
Snake Moan, CJ Beretta. That's
Yo,
the
am I-
nickname.
Yo,
That's the name.
like,
That's the
That's the
nickname.
name.
Black
Yo,
Snake
man.
Moon, CJ Beretta coming to the
Look.
ring now.
hey, yo, man, I come out to San Quinn's Find Out the Hard Way. That'll be my music. Oh,
You gotta stop, man. That's
man,
funny.
I tell you what, man, all the championships.
That's hilarious. If I could share a story,
Sure.
when I first found out that wrestling was fake, or when I first had when I found out that I found out wrestling was fake officially by watching the Beyond the Mat special. I believe it was like on like NBC or like ABC. It was on something. It was on television.
It was on
when I
A&E.
was younger.
It was on A&E.
It was on something. Yeah. But dog, like right around the time where like Booker T and Harlem Heat was like becoming a thing, and they did this. This segment, and it's not the I'm coming for you thing.
Oh, it's not.
But
Okay. All right.
no. They did this segment where they were like following Harlem Heat and like going through like, this is our hood, this is Harlem, this is the cold streets where we grew up.
Okay.
And my dad had enough. He was like, oh, this is BS. This is just BS. Like, it's enough for them to be like, yo, these guys are from Harlem, but you gonna put them on a street corner and say, yo, these are the cold streets where we grew up. He's like, these dudes is from Houston. They're from Texas. Like, they from where I'm from. Like, he's like, enough of this, all right? And I'm like, what are you talking about, Dad? Like, what are you...
Yeah, I don't know what you mean.
It's Harlem Heat. Like, what do you like? Why are you so mad? Try to understand. Like,
man, these blanks are from Houston.
He's like, yo, try to understand that I do want you as a fan. I just don't want you to do some crazy ish. It's crazy, man. Like, yo, he was not having it. He was like, enough of this. This is crap. They're lying. This is BS. Don't listen. Like, yo, these guys are from Houston. I'm like, okay.
You know what's crazy? Like, I think I know when you're talking about where, like, again, I grew up more towards the post-Attitude era, where it's Booker T. No, it's Stevie Ray. I think his name is his brother, right?
Yeah.
Stevie Ray, and he's like going back to the hood and saying, you know, Booker T. They haven't seen you and stuff like that. They haven't seen you around, and they were saying this. It was in Harlem, and I'm from New York, so I'm looking at him like, that's not. I don't know where that's at. That right there. Yeah, I know those. I know the Harlem blocks. That's not a Harlem block right there.
That is not even remotely what Harlem looks like.
I ain't seen a bodega cat in sight, and then you mean to tell me that this is supposed to be Harlem? This is Cloverland. You guys are in Cloverland.
This is Cloverland. Okay, go ahead. Get you a chopped cheese then. Have at it, my brother.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Let me see you go get a chopped cheese.
You can't.
That's funny.
You can't.
It's crazy, man. It's nuts. Wild.
Yo, Booker T.
I just wanted to share that.
Yo, my mom would buy me wrestling figures because she knew I loved wrestling, and I'd be like, Mom, I want this one. But then she'll always come home with a black wrestler. It was like, yo, remember this? I'm like, okay, Mom, damn.
What we got? You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
great.
I used to watch wrestling around my dad, and he knew like the guys like Hulk Hogan and all of them, and like I was watching matches like with Kofi Kingston and stuff like that, and he was like, they got black wrestlers out here? I'm like, yeah. He was like, oh, and he has the belt? And I'm like, yeah, he has the belt. And I was kind of thinking, I was like, why is he asking me these questions? And then it kind of like popped in my head, like, oh, when he was watching, there weren't like really any black wrestlers like on the screen.
No. It was like Ron Simmons, and then it was like a
Junkyard Dog, maybe
9 year fucking hiatus until we got Booker T again.
Yeah, and then your dad's like, hey, whatever happened to that Ahmed Johnson guy?
When he found out women were wrestling, like that was like a huge culture shock for him too. He was like, they got women out here wrestling? I'm like,
why are they doing this to themselves?
He's like, yo.
People are nuts, man.
So crazy.
So much for joining me. I appreciate you guys for being my first wrestling interview. And you guys have always entertaining and always enlightening me with these conversations. I appreciate you guys.
Man, greatly appreciate you for having us. The invite was very shocking to us. We were like, what? Somebody wants to talk to us? Like, what have we ever done? You know, that was like great or cool or remotely anything worth speaking about.
Interviewing.
But yo, no, but definitely very, very appreciative to you for inviting us on. Shout out to man, just dog. Like why would anybody want to talk to us? I'm still trying to I'm still trying to bring that in. Like how do I like
this ain't hyperbole, this ain't we were just like, yo, we was like, yo, you want to talk to like about what? Like, he's like, you want to interview us? We were like, all right, I mean, I guess. Like,
super,
man,
super
I have no idea, man, for real, man. This is crazy. Like, really appreciate this. Yeah, like,
and for people that want to contact you or reach out to you, of course, follow the Public Enemies podcast on Apple, on Spotify, on their YouTube channel. The two Black Sheeps as well. Follow you as well. Social media wise, you have it on here at Sons of Mars, Benjamin, right?
Yo, at _ the Son of Mars _ I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow me over there. If you're on Facebook, join the group Wrestling's Real Fans Chop Shop.
CJ.
Yeah, that's me right there. That's me, because there's a whole bunch of CJs out there. So like, you that one CJ, I'm funnier than that CJ and all the other CJs. That's me. You know what I'm saying, with 2 E's and a D in the end.
That's great. Yeah, I'm Graham. Currently the Public Enemy #1. You feel me? So if you want to follow me on your social media space, at oh my god Graham, I'll be there. Make sure you follow the show if you're interested. Public Enemies Podcast on Instagram, Public Enemies Pod, and on Twitter, where we make the majority of our bread and butter and make people a little irritated. At the Enemies PE3. New episodes every Thursday for us on this side. And shout out to you and SC Scoops for inviting us on.
Yeah,
for real, thank you.
For real, appreciate it.
Crazy.
Listen, I appreciate you guys. Graham, there's only one way to close this out, and that's not with a Jay-Z song. You know what I got here, right?
My bad. I done turned it off, but let's go ahead.
Let the gunshots go.
Let's go ahead and do it the way that we should. Let's go ahead. Oh wow, why is it? Oh, it's not on. Sorry.
What did you do?
It jammed.
Oh, you put the 30 in there, man. Put the 30 in there, man. See, man, that's why you can be putting them.
The problem is it's a whole Bluetooth connection thing, so I feel bad because I thought that once I heard the N words in Paris join, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I don't anymore, I was like, we're pretty much taken care of, I think.
What a way to end this interview. That's right.
Oh man.
Signing off. My name is Cyrese.
Bang.
This has been the Public Enemy Podcast interview. Have a nice day, guys.
Appreciate you.